Hi, it's Steve Morrison here, and you're listening to Chat with Chaps, chatting Millwall, come rain or shine.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Chat with Chaps, and this is the opposition preview, or the opposition view, I should say. Unfortunately, this week you've got me, not George, so apologies for that, but I'll do my best. Joining me today is Jake, who is the host of Pompey Live and the Football Hour on Express FM. Jake, thank you for coming on, mate.
Yeah, no problem. My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you, mate. And looking forward to this one because I'm not going to lie, I've always had a little bit of a soft spot for Pompey. I think we're similar-ish in terms of fan base and what we stand for as a club, and absolutely delighted that we're now back in the same league. Work commitments mean I can't come tomorrow night, but very much looking forward to it. Jake, you started off the season. I think you surprised everyone just how poor you were, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But you're currently in the last 6 games, 15th in the form table. So you're starting to turn that around. How would you summarise your start to the season so far?
Yeah, well, like you say, I mean, the start of the season was very difficult in terms of the fixtures we've been given. Leeds away to kickstart your return to the Championship after 12 years was incredibly brutal. And then you take on Luton at home, which I know in hindsight now you look at their form, the way they've not been particularly great. But a relegated Premier League side as your first home game, not particularly kind either. But you take 2 draws away from those matches and you're thinking, actually, could we compete at this level? Not to say, we're going to do an Ipswich or anything stupid like that, but actually, can we hold our own against some pretty decent sides? And, then you go to Middlesbrough, you get a 2-2 draw, you go to Burnley, you're narrowly beaten by 2-1. And, that first win of the season didn't come until match day 10 or 11, I think it was, away at a very poor QPR side. But I think we took solace in the fact that we had a very, very difficult start on paper. And that we were performing relatively well. But then we had a run of fixtures against the likes of, Oxford United just been promoted with us. We knew that they're no walkovers, but they have just been promoted with us. So that should be a game we look to win. Stoke away on a Wednesday night. They were on a bit of a turgid run of form going into it. New gaffer in charge. They thrashed us 6-1. And you're thinking, actually, we've had our tough start. Okay, we come away from it without a win, but now let's kick on and actually get that win. And then you get one win at QPR, and that's about it until just before the international break, a decent performance against Preston. So it's been very weird to actually summarise because, like I say, that opening 10 games, I thought we were performing relatively well. A lot of injuries, a lot of tough games, but ultimately in this division, it's going to be ruthless week in, week out. There's a lot of big sides in this division, and if we keep thinking that week in, week out, then we're just going to get relegated straight away. So yeah, it's a real tough one to assess, but I think we'll be. I don't know. I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I would prefer you to stay up, not necessarily picking points up against us, but I prefer you to stay up. I've actually got quite a lot of time and respect for Mousinho. I think the way he's implemented his strategy from League One and onwards, I've got quite a lot of respect for him. I mean, realistically, you touched on it there. Do you think you'll stay up? What do you think you need to change? Do you need reinforcements in January? Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest factors when we were in that run of form without a win was, no real goal scorer. Colby Bishop was out for, we didn't know how long at the time at the start of the season due to heart surgery. And I think that proved to be a real crucial factor come sort of end of September, October time, where we weren't finding the back of the net. We weren't taking our chances. And we knew that a fit and firing Colby Bishop, although unproven at this level, would do us for world of good. Of course, he came back last game, came off the bench and scored a penalty. So hopefully that will give him the confidence to carry on. But with his addition, of course, it's going to take a few weeks to really know whether or not that's going to be.
Is he fit now, Jake?
Sorry?
Is he fit now?
He's fit now. Yeah. So it was a surprise before the international break. It was pre-game Preston, the last game we played, actually. The lineup came out at 2:00, an hour before kickoff, and there was a one Mr. Colby Bishop on the bench. Now, he wasn't even registered in the squad. And we know that the squad can't be re-registered until January after the next transfer window. And obviously we didn't register him because he had heart surgery and we didn't know how long it'd take for him to be back. But the club kept it very much under wraps, even from us, the local press, that Colby had recovered much quicker than expected. And they found a loophole in the EFL system whereby Bam Bowett, the defender we signed from Fulham in the summer, he hadn't played a single minute. He's out for the season, and he was registered in the squad. So I think our secretaries contacted the EFL and said, well, he can't play. Can we just swap him for Colby? And apparently they said yes. So a stroke of luck. So he was in the team, and even that itself was emotional when he came on and done a warm-up. His name was announced, meant to come on, and we won the penalty, and it was only going to be one man taking it. It was 2-1 at the time, sealed the victory. And yeah, I think it could be a turning point, not just having him back, but also the kind of lift that it gave the squad, the fan base. Just a moment like that can really improve the mood. So yeah, he's back, and I think what it'll take to get out of it, to stay in this division, is him keeping fit, keeping firing in front of goal, but also 2 or 3 additions in January with real championship experience, because we've got a decent squad, but there's no real championship experience within it, or at least championship quality anyway.
Yeah, it's one of the things I noticed, because I felt when I looked at League One last season, you were the best side in my opinion, but I didn't really feel you strengthened enough. Whereas Derby and Oxford have almost completely changed their 11s, right? It's a completely different side. So I think that was interesting to watch. But as we look forward to the game tomorrow night, obviously your game was postponed, wasn't it, at the weekend? So you'll be fresh, which, listen, I think there's positives and negatives to that. But Colby aside, who should we be looking at? Who's your main threat?
The main threat this season so far has been Callum Lang. We signed him from Wigan back in January. He was integral to that end of season run to win the League One title last season. All players were, but I don't think there's any player within that team really that really put a foot wrong in that run in, to be fair. But Callum Lang was a real big part of that, and a real strong addition in January. So he's kicked on since the start of the season. I'm not sure how many expected him to really be in the team, with all due respect to Callum. As much as he was a great asset last season, coming up to a new division he's not particularly played in. We've recruited Josh Murphy, Sammy Silvera, Matt Ritchie as well, and you're thinking, where does Callum Lang fit in the squad? Now, due to injuries, obviously he's got his chance. He started away at Leeds, put in a brilliant performance, and he's been a mainstay in that team ever since, and he is the one name I think on the team sheet every week. But you can't deny, no matter how bad we've been, the results we picked up, Callum Lang is in that starting 11 without a shadow of a doubt, unless he's injured. So yeah, he's been our strongest player so far this season, 100%.
I'm not going to lie, I've always liked Callum Lang, and I just assumed that he wanted to continue his football career up north, because I was always like, why are we not going for him when he was in League One? And then obviously he's proven that wrong, because he's come to you, and as you said, he's been one of your standout performers, and a real good player, and a good age as well. He's got plenty to learn and develop too. So if he's one of your players that can inflict damage, where can we target? Where would you say your weak spots are, and how would that differ between the side of the performance that we walked away with a 1-0 victory in the cup a few months back?
Yeah, I think the biggest weak spot so far this season has been in defence. Connor Shockley's still 5 or 6 weeks away. John Mousinho has been telling us for months now that he's 2 to 4 weeks away, and now he's not going to be in the team until at least the new year. So that's a massive blow. He is our best defender without a question. Regan Paul, with the pedigree he brought to the squads and the start of the season he had last year, he got injured in November in a cup game at Chesterfield, and he came back at the start of this season. But he's obviously a good player, and we all know he is. We all know he's a solid defender, but I don't think he's quite hit the ground running, or he's certainly not the kind of player we saw at the start of last season. You take a lot of factors into consideration. He's been out for 9 months with an ACL injury. It takes quite a while for players to fully recover from that. Granted, we're in a higher division. There's going to be better quality. He's going to be coming up against much more threatening attackers. So give him the benefit of a doubt on that one. But irrespective of those factors, our defence has just been a weak point. I want to give a bit of credit to Conor Ogilvie on the left-hand side. Many have been questioning his abilities in this division, whether or not the step up is just a little bit too much for him. I myself have even questioned that, but in recent matches he has improved. I do think our left-hand side is the weakest of our squad. So certainly if you can exploit us down that area, then that's probably where you're going to get most of your success, because on the right-hand side, Zach Swanson's returning from injury. He might be available this week. Terry Devlin, young Northern Irish lad, he's been really impressing a lot of people lately, and he's adopted a new role at right back where we signed him as more of a central midfielder. So starting to improve on that flank as opposed to the left hand side.
Gotcha. Okay, so we're hoping Mr. SA can inflict some damage down our right and your left. So go on then, Jake. Just to round us off, give us a score prediction, and tell us, as part of that, tell us what you expect from Millwall tomorrow night.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've already touched on it. You know, looking at the form, 8 unbeaten, 4 draws, 4 wins, some big results in that time frame as well. Granted, I know you're not scoring a lot of goals, but you're just getting the victories over the line, you're getting the results. But you're coming up against a Pompey side who are, I mean, last game aside, scoring 3 against Preston in a very, very decent performance, have been really wasting their chances. So a game at the weekend against Blackburn would have given me more of an understanding as how this one's going to go. Well, we're going to respond at Blackburn and get a second consecutive victory and really kick on and maybe try and take that confidence into Wednesday night. But without that game on Saturday, it's really hard to tell. So given your form, given how inconsistent we have been this season, I'd go for a fair, respectable 1-1 draw, knowing that I think you're probably favourites for the game. 100. Well, I say probably you are favourites for the game. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But at Fratton Park, we've got to try and make it a fortress. And given our last performance there and how loud it was, I'd like to think that the fans can deliver that again in a midweek and at least try and make it difficult for you guys. If you're not scoring many goals but you're getting results, I think a 1-1 draw is probably fair. Yeah,
and that would be. I mean, we said on your show that my head's probably telling me a 1-1 draw, a third consecutive 1-1 draw for us. But I think for us, if we want to really stake our claim as potential playoff candidates, these are the sort of games we've got to come and win, right? That's just a fact, and it will be a real testimony of the strength of the squad and just how we can go from, Saturday. I keep saying Tuesday, but Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday. So heart says 2-1 win, but my head probably says a 1-1 draw. So we shall see where we end up, mate.
We shall do indeed. Look forward to it nonetheless.
Indeed, mate. Indeed. Just before we close out, just share with the Millwall listeners and any Pompey fans that listen to this where they can find you.
Yeah, so predominantly on X, formerly Twitter, at Jake Pompey Smith. Yeah, that's it really. On Instagram is the same handle as well, but I've been a bit inactive on that in the last year or so. So yeah, on X, formerly Twitter, at Jake Pompey Smith, and also our station's account as well, at Express FM and at Pompey on Express.
Lovely, mate. I'm sure they will definitely tune in to that. And for any Pompey fans listening to this, obviously this is Chat with Chaps. Yes, it's a Millwall, first and foremost, podcast, but everything we're doing here this season, all proceeds go to Cancer Research UK. So please do give us a like, subscribe. As you know, you'll be contributing to a good thing. So, Jake, thank you, mate, for coming on. Really appreciate it. We'll leave it there. All the best after Wednesday, and I'm sure we'll speak again in the future.
My pleasure. Thank you very much. And yeah, I hope so.
Thanks, Jake. Bye for now.